Hello and welcome back to Multimodal. I'm your host, Backsteve Future. So this week was a very, very busy week for me, both professionally and personally. A lot of appointments. In hindsight, I talked about last week about how I went camping. In hindsight, I'm very glad I went camping because it gave me a chance to recharge, think about things, be more focused, and also just more importantly, just have enough energy to deal with this week. I think without the camping trip, if I had just dived into this week, I would have been overwhelmed and super burnt out. And at the time too, I remember thinking maybe camping is a bad idea because I knew this week coming is a busy one. It was almost like I packed up my bags and went camping knowing there's a storm coming. But I'm glad I did it. If I hadn't gone camping, I would not have been able to put up with this week. So it was incredibly busy week, professionally, personally, many different ways. But there were these moments which were really exciting. So just briefly, I want to talk about the Loki series. This is going to be a spoiler-free discussion, but the finale dropped last Wednesday, and it was awesome watching that series. I love Marvel. I love how everything connects. And I do think as a tech industry, we simply do not talk about how impressive Marvel is as an organization, their ability to execute and their ability to provide a cohesive, consistent experience. And we're talking about decades worth of movies and shows. You'll have stuff coming out today, which connects back to stuff they released in 2008. I think their ability to execute on a long-term vision is honestly better than most tech companies. I think it's exemplary. There should be business and media and tech case studies around how Marvel runs. But regardless, I don't want to muck up the Marvel discussion with normal tech kinds of views on things and tech intensity. But anyways, it was just an incredible 6 episodes. It I don't want to talk too much about the ending, but it ended in a really delightful way. And of course, I'm excited to see what else Marvel comes up with next, how it all connects, what this decade of Marvel is going to be like. And one other just side note I've noticed is a lot of these shows now are using virtual production sets. I'll leave it to you to look up on Google Images what a virtual production set is, but it's basically like instead of a green screen, you use a big, I believe it's an LED screen behind you. It's almost like multiple TVs, and there's all these benefits. And I believe they use Unreal Engine to have the footage and control it, because what happens is as the camera moves, the footage on the TV showing in the background also moves proportionally, with all the 3D perspective and stuff in mind. And anyway, so this is the next generation of film tools. It's, in my opinion, has many advantages over green screen. But I just wanted to say that I have noticed this phenomenon where TV shows like Loki, and I can't remember if WandaVision used it or not, maybe, but definitely The Mandalorian used it, which is also a Disney Plus series. I've definitely noticed these shows, because they use Unreal Engine and virtual production sets, they're starting to look a lot like video games, which is funny, right? Because in the past we would play a video game and be like, wow, some of it at times it looks like a movie, right? And now the shows and stuff are starting to look like video games, which has its pluses and minuses. I definitely think they're able to do a lot more with a virtual production set and save money and time in all these ways. Loki, WandaVision, and Captain America and the Winter Soldier are as good as sci-fi TV can get. And certainly one thing that I find is, for a long time, sci-fi based TV has suffered from almost like this corniness. There's definitely something about the special effects which always bothered me compared to the special effects in the movie, where it just looked far more realistic in the movie as compared to on the TV show. I don't know, because of budget and stuff like that, right? But with Loki and Captain America and WandaVision, it was incredible. There was none of that corniness. I think this is peak sci-fi TV, and I think they've they've created something new that we've just never seen before, and suddenly they've opened this wormhole. It might be completely possible for more people to make very high quality sci-fi TV, which I don't think has been done well before in the past, besides maybe Black Mirror, like even without a big budget. And I'm curious to see what else people are going to create now with virtual production sets in the sci-fi category. I feel like sci-fi for a long time has been stuck in like, you basically need like a movie blockbuster budget in order to make anything meaningful. So I'm excited to see what's possible now. And so anyways, Loki was incredible. And by the way, there is something about it. Like I am enjoying the intimacy of Loki as a TV show as compared to either one movie or two movies. I liked that there was less of that blockbuster-ness that you need for most movies. It felt very intimate. It had these very charming original moments. I love Marvel so much that if you told me there's going to be a Marvel movie or show that you can watch every day, and it would be as good as the stuff I've watched in the past, I think I would just keep watching it. I think I would just be like endlessly consuming Marvel. And then it's a whole routine, right? Like, it's not like I just watch the show every Wednesday. I literally will watch the show. Then I got to watch all the YouTube videos, analyzing it, breaking it down, talking about all the Easter eggs and shout outs and the connections between the current stuff and the past, or the current stuff in the comics, or the current stuff and where it could go in the future. So I'll watch like new rock stars. I watch heavy spoilers. I'll watch Screen Crush. I'll watch as many of those videos as I can. And then I'll even check Reddit and see like all the memes and commentary so like I was on r/Loki TV, which is the subreddit just for the Loki show. And I just love reading the commentary, how others are finding it. And anyways, like all the Marvel stuff has been a real joy. I always look forward to all the different stuff going on. And this series was incredible. I think all three of the series so far, WandaVision, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, all the stuff that was released this year, I definitely think it was really enjoyable. Altogether, it was really enjoyable. All three brought different things to the table. WandaVision was just intense. Like it was like almost like a psychological thriller / mystery. There was so much going on. Captain America and the Winter Soldier raised really important questions. It had these epic moments. I definitely loved the bromance going on there as well. And then I felt like Loki was just a very exemplary Marvel show in the way, like, its humor and its storyline, character development, and also it's just general fun and like it wasn't as tense and much of a mystery as WandaVision where you're going insane. But it was like a dialed down version, which was just as enjoyable. So anyways, great week. Loki was definitely the highlight of the week. And it also, these things do provide some joy for you while you're just so busy all around. But anyways, so welcome back to Multimodal. This is the podcast where I'm supposed to talk about multimodal AI models like DALL-E. So I thought I'd just briefly chat about two things this week. So I'm seeing a lot of activity around VQGAN and CLIP. I saw so much activity that I thought I should probably put out a video talking about how crazy Twitter, or at least my Twitter, is booming with people using it. In the video I released, I don't remember what it's called, but it's on VQGAN and CLIP. You can check it out, youtube.com/BAKZTfuture. I show you the article that was written about it, which is, sort of pointing out this mainstream tipping point for VQGAN and CLIP and multimodal AI art in general. And then I even share like what Twitter account to follow and how to find the notebook and create it yourself. Hopefully that walkthrough is good for you. And I'm just seeing so much just cool art. So if you don't know, people are entering text, literally pushing a button, and VQGAN/CLIP is generating an image for them based on that description. And the Twitter accounts I'm seeing, I believe, like images_AI, they've even simplified it even further. Like, I believe you can even tweet at them a description of a photo that you want made, and they'll get back to you eventually with the actual photo from VQGAN and CLIP to show you what it came up with. And I do think there is something about multimodal stuff, because it's so usable and easy and fun, I think it has a certain built-in virality to it. Like just the fact that I can enter a description of anything, a chair, an armchair in the shape of an avocado, and I just can push a button and it will make that image for me. Like you can be any age, any background, whatever, and do it, like try it. And then you obviously, once you try it once, you want to keep trying it. You want to do it a few more times and see what happens. You want to do it next week. Sometimes you might think of an idea. In the video I dropped, I talked about Vova, who's a friend of mine on Twitter. And, he was dealing with some code problem. And then he basically put in a description to have AI generate an image, which sort of helped him express the sort of struggle he was going through, right? And so it definitely has been really exciting. And I wanted to tip even further, to be honest, right? Like, every one of these tweets that these multimodal AI image generators, every one of these images that it generates for people who haven't themselves hit up the notebook or anything, is another additional 5 or 10 people they could potentially bring on, right? And as the technology gets better, I think it will only get more viral. I wouldn't be surprised if we're just a few years away from people casually doing this kind of stuff from their phone. And by people, I don't mean like super hyper nerds like me, who hang around on Discord and all the specific subreddits and on specific Twitter accounts. I just mean like, maybe not necessarily your mom and dad. I think they may be a couple years from that, but I mean like a typical like frat bro, or like just somebody you work with who's like not necessarily like in the technical know-how kind of stuff. I think we're a few years from them just punching it in themselves from their phone and generating and cross-sharing. I can definitely envision some kind of plugin for Google Hangouts or like Discord or Slack, where you can just type in something and a multimodal AI generator will generate that image, and you can share it in the group chat, like in WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram. Sorry, there's so many chat apps nowadays, I can't even keep track. And I'm an old man now, so like whatever the kids are using nowadays that's popping, I could just see something like that where you can, like, instead of putting in an emoji, you might be able to generate like an exact image to express how you feel or to make people laugh or whatever, just by entering simple text, and it would just generate it, and you could put it in the conversation and have that sort of very personal moment where you put in a little bit more effort than just putting in a GIF or looking up an emoji and pasting it in. So anyways, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if this kind of stuff sounds interesting, you want to try it, check out my latest video. Again, it's youtube.com/BAKZTfuture. I also want to talk about OpenAI's fine-tuning API very briefly. They announced that last week. And again, I've been so busy, I have not even had a chance to try it. I want to try it so bad. And look, this is not a typical endpoint. Keep in mind, I still have to try it, but this is different from the previous stuff that OpenAI has released. Look, props to them, question and answers, awesome API endpoint, search, very exciting API endpoint, but fine-tuning, I think is probably the most critical announcement they've announced since GPT-3 itself. And the reason that I say that is GPT-3 is awesome. There's all these use cases, but it's well known that it can be very unreliable in all these different ways. So, for example, it might just rant and keep ranting about things sometimes that have nothing to do with what you asked, right? Other times it may even, you might tell it to pretend you're a celebrity, and then it will just decide to change its role to another celebrity or something else, right? It may say something offensive, or it may behave in inaccurate ways. Like, for example, I released one of my earlier videos was on getting GPT-3 to tokenize text, right? If tokenizing text is not mission critical, but it is really important to have a consistent, predictable, accurate tokenization process, right? Otherwise, you should just use NLTK or Spacy or any of the libraries that only do that, right? And so, sometimes it would just be inconsistent in how it tokenizes it. And So fine tuning. So fine tuning, to give you a very clear description of what it is. Like right now, when you use GPT-3, the best you can do is give it 2 or 3 training examples in your prompt, right? And you hope and pray that from these 2 or 3 examples, it will be more consistent as a result. It will behave in more reliable ways. And in many use cases, I would say it does fine. Like certainly generating copy, I don't think you have that many scenarios where it goes off the rails, right? For other things like I'm talking about, like tokenization and all these things, those 2 or 3 examples is not enough. And often you may not even be able to give 2 or 3 examples. You might only be able to give 1 because there's character limitations with GPT-3 as well, right? So the input and the output that you give it total has to be less than 2048 characters. And so anyways, with fine tuning, the excitement is you're not just giving it examples, you're giving it examples that it will be trained on. So you're actually changing the model and affecting the weights of the model. And of course, you can give it far, far more examples, right? What's acceptable? What's unacceptable? Scenarios where going off the rails, you're clearly telling it, don't go off the rails. You can have examples where it does not say anything offensive or explicit. And, then the models will be adjusted to avoid doing that. The model weights, it'll be adjusted so you could do that. And so the excitement is, on one hand, yes, GPT-3, we should scale it up. We should get to GPT-4. That's really exciting. But on the other hand, I think what's just as meaningful is horizontal advancement when it comes to reliability, right? So if we can make GPT-3, like Sam Altman was saying in that podcast I spent a while talking about last episode, if we can make GPT-3 like 1 million times more reliable, right? That alone is a huge form of advancement, right? Because now we already know it can do all these things, and now we know not only will it be able to do these things, but it will be able to do them reliably, predictably. And the most exciting thing, and maybe I should have started with this, is there's now commercial potential, right? So now you can reliably integrate GPT-3 into your business in all these different ways, on the website and on the back side, like in the front end, back end, customer support, sales. You could even, for all these internal tools and processes, you could even have it make decisions, knowing that it's reliably making those decisions, right? You could have it make judgment on specific user scenarios and analytics decisions. You could incorporate it in decision making. And so all I'm saying is, yes, GPT-4, very exciting. We should push for it, but also making our existing GPT-3 far more reliable is in itself a huge form of advancement, and will only lead to more GPT-3 being used more often everywhere. And I think, you guys are listening to this podcast, if fine tuning is exactly how I'm imagining it could be, if it's as good, if it does genuinely make GPT-3 more reliable, listen, I think a lot of the floodgates commercially are open now, right? So like if you want to make money from GPT-3, you might have had a use case where it could do it. It was really awesome, but it could only do it maybe 1 or 2 times out of 10. And so you couldn't go sell it to a business. Now you may be able to do that. You may be able to get it to act accordingly. And sell that to a business. And often, let me be clear here, most businesses and big companies and even individuals, they still don't know what GPT-3 is. They have not heard of it. You and I know about it. We're insiders, but they don't. And so this is a tremendous opportunity because GPT-3 is so powerful. The things it can do are the things that most people think is like 10 years away for AI. It can do those things today. So there's a huge delta here between what society thinks is possible, what actually is possible. And so what I'm saying is, with fine tuning, it's a huge opportunity to actually capitalize on what's now possible today and start selling stuff to businesses and making money. I have personally been waiting for the fine-tuning API to come out for months now, because I think it's really exciting that maybe there's these money-making opportunities, there's these commercial opportunities, and it's an opportunity to get GPT-3 in the hands of businesses and transform it from just a cool language model hobby kind of thing to an actual critical, essential commercial. I almost think it's a commercial utility at its best case scenario, something which is far more reliable, scaled up, maybe GPT-4, GPT-5. I think it's almost like cloud hosting. I think it will be that critical and that essential. So anyway, altogether, those are the three things I wanted to chat about today. So Loki was awesome. I encourage you to watch my video on VQGAN and CLIP. Go ahead and generate something and tweet it to me at BAKZTFuture, and I will retweet it if it's impressive art only. But also, if it's just something cool that you're really excited, I'll probably retweet it as well. I'm just kidding. And finally, fine-tuning API. I encourage you to play around with it. I don't know when I'll get a chance to play around with it. I've been so busy, but you're welcome to tweet at me and let me know. You're welcome to put it in the comments below. How are you finding fine-tuning API? What you're excited to do with it? And if you're having commercial success through fine-tuning, I'd love to hear about that too. I'm sure everyone in this audience could learn from your example. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. You know that this podcast is everywhere. It's on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. It's available. You know about my awesome newsletter, bakztfuture.substack.com. You know about my YouTube channel, youtube.com/bakztfuture. And you're welcome to hit me up on Twitter at bakztfuture and just say hello. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are. Hope it's awesome. Bye.